All right, boys and girls, the traveling arena. Your man Joe Pierce Spider back with another "No Before You Go," and this one goes out to my railroaders out there, my people who love to take the train to go from point A to point B and back again. And well, this is to clear up a little confusion. Penn Station, Moynihan Train Hall. What's the difference? Is there a difference? Do you have to go to one or the other to board your train? Can you get a red cap at one or the other? Well, despite being open for the past year and a half, there's still some confusion, so hopefully this video clears up a lot of questions that you may have. Whether or not there is a difference between a Moynihan Train Hall and where you gotta go for certain services, yada yada yada. Alright, here we go. Is there a difference between Penn Station and the Moynihan Train Hall? Yes, there is. I mean, Penn Station's been around since forever. The Moynihan Train Hall, however, is right across the street and has been open since January 1st, 2021. Now, you got some differences and you got some similarities. Now, no, as far as whether or not Amtrak's moved entirely away from Penn Station and is over in the Moynihan Train Hall. I mean, it hasn't dumped it completely. I mean, you've got a skeleton crew there and you still got some services there. But first, I want to answer this question that many people seem to get confused about looking on their ticket and looking online and stuff. Is, can you board your train from Penn Station? Do you have to go to Moynihan? Does it matter? The truth is, no, it does not matter. You can board your train at Penn Station. You could board your train at the Moynihan Train Hall. It makes absolutely no difference. They're right across from each other, facing each other. The tracks connect both stations. So don't think because you're running late, let's just say well, for those New Yorkers, you know what I mean by this. You come in by the 1, 2, or 3 train, you're on the 7th Avenue side, and you run all throughout Penn Station just to drag your bags across the street to Moynihan Train Hall, and now you missed your train. Truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter where you're at, Moynihan Train Hall or Penn Station, you can still catch your train. If it comes up on track 12, you just go to track 12 at either place. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. And even if you're split up with your loved ones, like you may be at Penn Station saying, hey, I'm at 1112 West, where are you at? And they say, hey, I'm at 1112, and you don't see each other. That's probably why. One's at the Moynihan Train Hall, one's at Penn Station. So you can both go down, say if the train's boarding, you don't have to waste time going across the street to meet each other or meet each other in the middle. Just simply go downstairs, down the escalator, and meet up on the train. I mean, don't miss your train because, one's at the other place. Or don't miss your train because, my ticket says Moynihan. Doesn't matter. You can catch your train at the Moynihan Train Hall or Penn Station. Now, like I said, as far as similarities go, Amtrak still does and maintain a seating area in both places. So if you are a ticketed passenger or Amtrak ticketed passenger, there's a seating area at Penn Station or at the Moynihan Train Hall. Once again, if you're at Penn Station, you don't have to worry about going up the escalator and hauling your luggage across the street just to have a place to seat. There is a seating area maintained by Amtrak employees at Penn Station and also the Moynihan Train Hall. It does not matter. And for those of you looking for a red cap, the guys in the red hats, well, I don't have one now, but guys in the red hats and the red shirts that help you down with your luggage, that pre-board you early, you can get a red cap at either place. If you're at the Moynihan Train Hall, there's a red cap area. If you're at Penn Station, there's a red cap area. And both of those areas are right next to the seating areas. Guys are wearing the red shirts and the red hats. Well, excuse me, the guys and the girls are wearing the red shirts and the red hats. You can't miss them. So if you want red cap service, for whatever reason, you don't have to worry about, if you get dropped off at Penn Station, I gotta go to Moynihan. No, it doesn't matter. You can get red cap service, all in the same, at both locations. Now that goes with the similarities. However, we're going to go over a few differences here and there. Now, while Amtrak has not completely abandoned Penn Station, it has, however, moved most of its operation to the Moynihan Train Hall. And I'll explain the difference. Let's say you come in and you want to buy a ticket. All right, and you're at Penn Station. Well, inside the Penn Station, they got the kiosk machines where, you could buy your ticket, credit or debit card. However, if you need to see a ticket agent, someone at you in front of a window to talk to, and if you're paying by cash, you have to go across the street to the Moynihan Train Hall. So that instance right there is where you need to go to the Moynihan Train Hall to take care of a, transaction, buying a ticket with cash, getting a refund. Anything dealing with tickets where you have to deal with an actual ticket agent, you have to go to the Moynihan Train Hall for that. And let's just say you came in late or you have a complaint or something, you would have to go to customer service, and Amtrak customer service is located at the Moynihan Train Hall. Okay? And let's say, we'll stick with customer service for a little bit. Let's say you have to pick up a minor or drop off a minor that's going on a train. You would have to go to the Moynihan Train Hall to Amtrak customer service office to take care of that, because they take care of the paperwork there. You can't do it at Penn Station. You can't just drop a kid off, paperwork in Penn Station. You got to go to the customer service at the Moynihan Train Hall for that. All right. And also, if you want to see a manager, a member of management, once again, they're located over at the Moynihan Train Hall as well. Penn Station, it's, you got the employees, but let's just say something happens and you ask to speak to a manager, then you would have to go across the street to the Moynihan Train Hall, go to their customer service, and see a manager over there. Now, for those of you, because Amtrak, over the past summer started going back to Canada, you would have to do the Canadian check-in. Now, in order to do the Canadian check-in, I'll do a whole video on that separate, but you got to have an actual physical ticket, a paper ticket. You can't just have it on your phone. And to get that printed out, you go over to the ticket office across the street at the Moynihan Train Hall, and also you got to do your Canadian check-in. And the Canadian check-in can only be done at the Moynihan Train Hall. You cannot do the Canadian check-in at Penn Station. For those of you taking the 7:15 train, the 63, if you're going into Canada, crossing the border, you have to do the Canadian check-in, and that must be done prior to you leaving New York Penn Station, and it has to be done at the Moynihan Train Hall. You cannot do that at Penn Station. And another thing, for those of you take the Acela, all right, you got first class. And those of you that have sleepers on the long distance trains, You're going to Miami, you're going to New Orleans, Chicago, whatever. You got yourself a sleeper. There's those of you that got that silver gray card, was it Select Executive, Select Plus, whatever. And even if you're not, but you buy a ticket, you want to use the first class lounge for a day or whatever. Well, the first class lounge is no longer at Penn Station. That is only available at the Moynihan Train Hall. So, for those of you using first class, you want to enjoy those nice, comfy seats and enjoy that music and food and adult beverage. You got to go across the street to the Moynihan Train Hall for that. So while Amtrak has not entirely abandoned Penn Station, however, most of the operations, when it comes down to that, I said, previously stated, you got to go to Moynihan Train Hall for that. There's no ifs, ands, or whats. No way about it. Either way. I mean, of course, Moynihan Train Hall, it's newer. It costs billions of dollars. Oh, and another thing, speaking of Moynihan Train Hall, for those of you local, you New Yorkers and stuff, the post office is still there. No, the post office is not closed. No, Amtrak did not take over all that. No, the post office does not get gutted down or whatever. Post office is still available. However, the back area and stuff and the lower levels and stuff, all that belongs to the Moynihan Train Hall. So yes, you can still go up the stairs and go to the post office and go through the post office and go to the Moynihan Train Hall and catch your train. So I've had people ask me about that. Oh, is the post office, that's been there for years, is that closed? No, the post office is still there, and so is the Moynihan Train Hall, right behind it. So, you can still, like I said, mail your packages or whatever and catch your train. Alright? So again, folks, doesn't matter where you board your train, Moynihan Train Hall or Penn Station, you can board it either or. You can get a red cap at either place. You can get a ticket at either place. However, ticket agent, Moynihan Train Hall. Customer service, Moynihan Train Hall. Canadian check-in at the Moynihan Train Hall. First class lounge at the Moynihan Train Hall. So, quick video. Hopefully this clears up a lot of confusion and a lot of questions that many people, that I come in contact with have. They still get confused. Yeah, it's been there for a year and a half, but still people still have questions, And plus, it's New York, so you're going to get a lot of foreigners and a lot of people from out of state. They're not too familiar with it and everything. It's not like they really post it online and manage, and like have it on there that explains like the real difference of what you can do at one place that you can't do at another, and so forth. And rather than that, you could board your train here, So that's the purpose of this video. Basically, to help clear confusion and educate, you railroaders out there that love taking the train, so that not to waste your time, looking for something, and also not miss your train. That's more importantly than anything, is that you do not miss your train because you're confused as to where to go, rather to go catch your train or not. You don't have to cross the street in either place. Doesn't matter where you get dropped off at. I mean, some may have a preference, some may, they don't want to go to the new place. They just want to stay at Penn Station because that's when they've been going since, they were little. It's up to you. Rather than not, you want to use Penn Station rather than to use the Moynihan Train Hall, you're not going to get your arm twisted either way. But the whole purpose of this video is to educate you so that if something happens or if you're looking for a certain service, you know exactly where to go right from the start, instead of walking around clueless, maybe looking for an employee, you may not find one, or you may listen to another customer who doesn't really know what he or she is doing, and they tell you something wrong. You know, that happens a lot. You know, they'll tell you, oh, this customer, they told me to come in here and do this. No. You know, they don't always know what they're doing. They're not calling passengers stupid, but some, you know, they're just guessing. You know, they don't work there. You know. And plus, you know, you could be talking to some person who's out of town like yourself. They don't know, so they're just guessing. Hopefully this video was very helpful. And like I said, hopefully it clears up a lot of confusion. It makes your commute a lot easier and a lot simpler. Please share this video. And I say share it, please hit the world with this one. So that when people come into New York City and they want to ride Amtrak, they know exactly where to go for what. And more importantly, if something happens, what to do. You know, where they got to go for that. Oh, one more thing I did want to touch on. Checked baggage. When it comes down to checked baggage, I'm glad I just remembered that. When it comes down to checked baggage on long distance trains, the baggage area is at the Moynihan Train Hall. You cannot check baggage at Penn Station anymore. If you want to put a bag on a train that has a baggage car on it, I mean, always check to see if there's a baggage car on the train. If you want to, let's say if you're going down to New Orleans, you want to check a bag, then you got to go to the Moynihan Train Hall for that. Also, inbound, when you're coming in, and you know, you got a checked bag off of a train, you got to go ahead and get that at the Moynihan Train Hall at the baggage area, which is in the back, behind the ticket office. Alright? And another thing before I forget, always remember something. Another difference between Penn Station and the Moynihan Train Hall, you know, for you know, Amtrak commuters out there, Penn Station is open 24 hours for Amtrak operation. The Moynihan Train Hall is not open 24 hours for railroad operations. The Moynihan Train Hall opens at 5 a.m. and they close at 1 a.m. So 5 a.m., 1 a.m. So you got that 4-hour gap where the Moynihan Train Hall is closed. Didn't even say, oh, I got this train that's leaving. It leaves at 2:30, and I got a train that's leaving at like 3:30, and I got a 4:20. For those of you catching those trains at those hours, when you come in, I mean, let's say even if you come in 11, 12 o'clock, just go ahead and just make your way to Amtrak Penn Station and sit in that waiting area there. There's no need going into the Moynihan Train Hall and sitting there, and then, you know, the seating clerks say, okay, we're closing. You know, and security kicks you out. And then you got to take your bags across the street to Penn Station. So look on your ticket, and if you're catching, like I said, if you're catching those trains at those hours in between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., just go right to Penn Station seating area, because the Moynihan Train Hall is going to close at 1 a.m. and you're going to have to go across the street to Penn Station anyway. So that's another difference in hours of operations that they're open between the two, Penn Station and Moynihan Train Hall. And also, you know, if you're catching trains at those hours, just go to Penn Station. Just go right there, sit there and relax. There's no need sitting there getting comfortable. Oh, now I gotta go across the street. And you never know, it could be raining. Raining, winter's coming up, it'll be snow, and you'll be hauling your luggage across the street. I mean, it's across the street, yeah, and for a walk, but still, it could be an inconvenience. So if you catch trains at those hours, you know, just go ahead, just go to Penn Station and hang out there. That's another heads up. for you railroad commuters out there. I hope this video was very helpful. Make it a lot easier when you're traveling by Amtrak and you come into New York. You know where to go for what services you need, and you also know the hours of Penn Station and Moynihan Train Hall. And no, Moynihan Train Hall is not the new Penn Station. No, they did not completely remodel Penn Station, make it into an all-new station. You know, Penn Station's still there. Moynihan Train Hall just got there. You know, they're just across the street looking at each other. All right. I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy your train travel now that you know what to do now. Spider out.